What a satisfying, terrifying view. Hello everyone, and welcome to Keep Digging. You could not have a more self-explanatory title except for maybe a game about digging a hole. And this really is just a game about digging a hole, but maybe expanding on the concept a little bit and with more realistic graphics. And I'm totally fine with that. I kind of see this in the same vein as games like Viscera Cleanup Detail or Power Wash Simulator. It's a simple, repetitive task that constantly keeps you going by leaving breadcrumbs to some sort of conclusion. And from the screenshots, it seems like maybe there's a bit more in the way of discoveries in this as well, maybe a consequence of the more realistic graphics. So I'm always fine with doing the same idea better, and we'll see if it actually reaches those heights, or lows. Let's start digging. As with any co-op game, we need to make our generic Unreal Engine guy. We've got to change our neck. You can't start a game without correctly changing your neck. Actually, there's myriad different miners to choose from, including a clown, a politician, and various colored monkeys. Are these guys supposed to be NFTs? Well, if I have to choose between a shirt or no shirt, I'm obviously choosing no shirt. And we can have a really skinny left leg if we want. Okay, well, I'm all customized up. Whoa! We literally emerge from the depths, a digging ninja. We wield this thing like a weapon. Look at that. A stone spade tied to a stick. We are truly starting with the most primitive of tools, but hopefully that'll change. Oh? There's actually a bunch of digging NPCs over here. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that a lot of assets in this game are not from here. It's got that Unreal blur. Well, maybe we should start digging. Left shift jumps, as does space. We can craft different things here. Oh, we have to left click, even though it's saying left click to dig. Our first upgrades are going to be extremely cheap, it seems. Hey there. Okay, you're the merchant that we sell our loot to. The guy who comes around with a pickup truck full of rubble, knowing there's gold in these hills, or this vacant lot next to abandoned tenements. I wonder just how much we can explore the surrounding area. There's a shady-looking dude over there, in the shade. Spare battery. Do we use that for a light? And another spare battery. These controls are so weird. There's less care or cohesion to the overall style. But even the co-op will make this worth it for some. I mean, it's a $5 game, so you really can't expect too much. We can buy different spray paints from you. I don't know why the massive scaling on the cost, but maybe at a certain point 10,000 will become trivial. So, presumably this entire lot is our excavatable area. But it all begins with the X that marks the spot. That hardly made a difference. That barely pulled down the grass. But if we keep spam clicking, we can find some coal. And even iron mere inches below the surface. And we get little dollars for those. And now we've got a hole. It seems we've got limited inventory slots too, so that does necessitate going back to the merchant fairly often. It seems stone is worth $1 and coal is worth $2. So it actually tells us the total value of what we've got. And if we come over here, we can sell you everything for $16. But it's just the beginning. We can fast travel. Maybe this connects to different points in whatever's in here. Now, what I'm really dying to know is if there's going to be some sort of twist ending. What is the ultimate reward when we reach the deepest depths? I'm fine with just running away with all of this right now. Got $17. And now we'll see what upgrades we can purchase. A stone shovel. We can upgrade that. Upgrade our backpack. And... the rest we don't really need right now, or is out of our reach. So let's go ahead and increase the battery, why not? You know, as a kid, I saw the movie Holes, and I guess there was some part of me that always wished this genre that's developed would be a thing. Because I remember thinking it would be so satisfying to have a game where all you do is dig downward and find things and keep going down and being able to go horizontally and make tunnels, and sooner or later maybe finding like ancient ruins and sort of sculpting out the pathways little by little. And I may have finally gotten my wish. Well, I suppose I already did some time ago. We really want to get these upgrades sooner rather than later, and you can see our shovel is evolving. Yep. We got to make sure also that we can excavate out a little staircase for us. The last thing we want is to be stuck far from the surface. But it looks like we're going to be able to unlock something akin to a grappling hook or a rope. I think it was a jetpack in a game about digging a hole, which was maybe just a bit more efficient. See, before we know it, we're making far more progress per click, and our rate of descent gets exponentially faster. Oh, the battery comes on, or the light comes on automatically as we reach lower levels. It knows. I would kind of like to have control of that. Oh, and look here. We're reaching a layer beneath the dirt. Now, that's one thing that's kind of cool. We get the achievement, Blood of Cypress. Obtain copper for the first time. $20. $20 for one piece of silver. The dawn of currency, the achievement reads. And as you can see, not only do we have more inventory space, but we're getting a lot more for it. For each slot, I mean. But now our backpack is full. We can still jump out of here for the time being. And I imagine it's going to be fairly generous with our ability to grab onto the terrain. But I'm really curious to know how this rope is going to work. $91? We're just shy of the next upgrades. Oh, look at... Regardless of where we were, the rope will just cause us to slide upward. It does use energy, though, so we can't just use it to fly off into the sky. At least not for this moment. Anyway, let's grab some silver. Iron. But yeah, it seems like this layer is a bit tougher to chew through, which of course makes sense. And that actually is a pretty nice innovation. I mean, that's how it always is at the birth of a genre. You have one thing that just takes the concept and proves that, yes, as crazy as it sounds, people do like this. And then somebody else says, okay, yeah, that was neat, but what if we really flesh this out a little bit? I mean, we're digging straight down there, but I'm gonna start doing this. Oh, even shoveling drains our battery. Is this thing powered? What part of this thing is powered? We just found a $100 box. So that's helpful. That's a good pick-me-up. I wish I'd dug a little bit backward in the beginning. I mean, hey, these $1 stones, we're gonna dig them up at some point, and might as well do it early. We can charge our batteries for only $10, so actually we're kind of incentivized to make sure that that never reaches its minimum. Let's get all that. I wonder if we can gain some power efficiency upgrades as well. I really like this. I like the gameplay loop of having to sort of come up for air, diving down, trying to get as much as you possibly can, and then coming back up. I actually think that makes it more rewarding than simply digging straight downward all the time, because it gives you incentive to constantly look back at all your progress. Yeah, every time I come up here, I'm going to be charging my battery, which is gonna get more expensive with greater upgrades. And look, what started out as one humble little hole, one shovelful of dirt, is now a genuine public health hazard. Now, if you look on our right, we can see our depth meter, and it looks like we have only just scratched the surface. Which is funny, because this would be a big ol' hole if you were to come across it. But that just means that the depth may be a bit more than in a game about digging a hole. I mean, it's all about escalation, right? A while back, I played the Exit 8, and I thought, yeah, that's an interesting concept, a bit annoying. It was really cool kind of getting to see the anomaly genre develop in real time as new games came out. Because with Exit 8, like, it was a cool concept, but it was sort of annoying. Some of the things were really obscure, and it was not really so much to look at. Later games started to have more complex areas, they started to incorporate more story features, and they allowed their story to be told by that looping nature, and more importantly, they started to have less obscure anomalies, at least for the most part, because they realized that people more enjoyed being able to see what could be different and what could change, rather than the challenge of finding what was different. In other words, sometimes you have the idea for a type of game, and people like it enough, but it's almost the criticism of the early entries in a genre that are the most valuable, because that's where you learn the real potential of what you're working with there. You could start tunneling horizontally. That's not really what I want to do in this moment. Hello, what's this? Whoa! We've broken through to a cave system. Okay, that wire rope is going to be a little bit more essential here, and see this. We can see the edges of the property we're set to work with. This is the almighty power of the zoning board. There's some artifacts here. A warp stone? Maybe we can use that for, like fast travel? Money. Okay, so it functions effectively identically to the jetpack. It just has a different sign and flavor text to go with it. Alright, sell all that. Charge our batteries. Buy a better shovel, which is actually now a pickaxe, though still quite primitive. I mean, I feel like even Harbor Freight will sell you something more effective than this. Most efficient thing would be to start in this lower corner, right? Man, at 19 meters, we are still just barely getting down there. This definitely feels like it's expanded in scope for a co-op audience. Like you're supposed to have 4 people working on this thing. Maybe straight down instead of side to side will be a more worthwhile goal than in digging a hole. The only thing is that we're going to need to back out a lot more often then, aren't we? The sight of daylight is going to become more and more welcome. Oh, look. If we come over here, we can see a museum of the types of ores we've unlocked. Or I guess the ones we found for the first time. There's a fair bit of freedom. It's funny how huge this all looks when you're underground. Alright, deeper. For now, deeper is better. Gold for $50. It's in your PC, too, reads the achievement. Okay, now we're starting to see things a bit darker. See, I think this right here, this little cave system, that's our first real... I die. You die. What? Game, there wasn't really a ton I could do about that. Can I get my stuff back? Are you kidding? Look at how fast that drains. You're gonna lose all your health just, like, getting out of here. And batteries are effectively health at that point. And it takes, like, basically a full charge to rope out of here. I mean, I happily would buy more spare batteries to make this easier, but I can't see any place to do that. Yeah, right now I'm just kind of trying to open up this whole area, grabbing as much silver and copper as I can to build up my upgrades maybe a bit prematurely. The flashlight doesn't seem to be using battery unless it's just much slower. No, I don't think it is. So let's keep this up. And I guess leave when we have like a third of our battery still left. Just take what we can and get out. I really don't know what we're going to do at this rate, because the upgrades I'm getting from grinding out silver on the surface, it's not really being enough so far. And we're mostly still finding crap down here. It costs $150 to charge the battery now. So we kind of have more expenses that we need to make up for. We're hitting dirt, according to this, only 5 meters from the surface. This should get us where we're going. Daylight. And we now have stairs, meaning we do not have to expend any energy. Up, climbing up. This slant actually saves us a fair bit of digging. Yep. Yep. This is scary. This is real scary, and I think that might have just been one little bone to throw us. Never mind, I was just gonna make a comment about how it might be a while before we see another cavern. Discovered already. We're still not finding a whole lot in the way of riches. You know what? I'm gonna preserve my battery somewhat. Yep. Another warp stone. Lost the other one with a misclick or a mistype. There's another look. I think you might have had a teleporter accident here because this whole area is just carved out in a circle around you. $500 in a box. So this has got quite a bit more in the way of preset caves for us to explore. It might also be randomly generated to an extent because it did say generating world in the start. I'm not sure to what extent this is procedural. Well, this is unexpected. There's no way we're still within those confines, right? Reach 50 meters depth. We're not the first to be here. We can take some dynamite. So maybe we don't want to use that right now. This'll act as a fast travel. So I guess this is like a checkpoint. Okay. We also now get a radar. Alright, here's where we're starting to see the extra depth. And we can see what's hidden beyond. Look at this. T-Rex fossil, or some other large carnivore. Tyrannosaurus skull. Yeah, just put that in our backpack. And the chimp emote call. Hang on, wait. Yeah, sure. Why not? Might as well, right? Now, it seems like this area is fully self-contained. We can't dig into this. You know what that means? The zoning board's powers are not letting us dig beyond our permitted zone. We can knock this out of the way, and even find some silver inside. But all the major things we can locate with our radar. We can just send out a ping every once in a while. Okay, this is cool. Amber, $100. Tree sap with trauma, the achievement calls it. Okay, well, we're coming out of here with quite a lot. But I'm definitely counting on that manhole cover to work the way I think it does. More amber. So that's the thing, the deeper you go, the more you earn. Which is why it was so annoying grinding at the surface. Unfortunately, our backpack is full. So please tell me this works the way I think it does. Back to the start. Oh, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 additional layers to reach. Howdy! You know, one might wonder why we even need to find these things in the first place. Why don't we just crawl down here? But I guess it's one of those adaptations. One of those sacrifices you make for greater scope. If we want to go deeper, we need to have some solutions. Something I've also just realized is that it kind of spawns these things not before you start digging, but after you clear out a chunk. So you can see things that physically weren't there before. Like that, see? And some of these chunks that hang in the air are actually impossible to get rid of. By the way, we're going to need this money because charging our batteries now costs $500. There's a warp stone embedded in the rock. And a new type of rock right here. Now is the point where this mine, this humble operation, in the middle of the city, starts turning a profit, I think. But we've still got to get back here. I do think, on the one hand, it sort of loses something in not having to go back directly to the surface, not having to climb all the way out. But I'm also not sure what the alternative would be. See, what I've realized is that every swing, which is actually pretty big now, uses one charge. And so bigger swings means, well, more efficient charges. So we can sell that, fill our battery, and the next thing will be the increase to our stone pickaxe, which these are starting to look more and more incremental. But we've got iron now, so that's got to help. Back down to cave. It wants to turn you into a squad of dwarves. Hi-hoing off to work. Yep. Dies from running out of battery, but takes no fall damage. I'm like an iPad, baby. Could just be me, but it kind of feels like things are starting to thin out down at 70 meters. I'm getting a little spooked, so let's go. Let's go, 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 go. Yeah. This is starting to take more and more of a toll to get back out. This is gonna already start getting dangerous if we don't hit something soon. I believe we found the next stage. Which is good, because I was starting to get really, really worried. I'm still worried. I mean, when this is all you see, when this is your view, just the little pocket you're making for yourself, it's very easy to lose track of where you are. 30 meters below where we last stopped. And that's higher than you think. It's terrifying to look up from where you are. And even more terrifying when you start flying out and see just how much 30 meters really is. Look at that. Remember when this was like crazy deep? Now it's base camp. I mean, look at this. Here's our little stop. And here's something you could easily trip into if you weren't paying attention. Let's jump down, shall we? Wee. Into the next level of caves. Climb boost. I'm not quite sure what climb boost actually does. I'm assuming that one chest I couldn't collect earlier with a crown was probably something like this, but I didn't see the text. Ooh, our radar reveals things like that. $1,000. Making bank, it says. Obtain $1,000 box. Best off walking as low as we can get, right? Whoa, huge gold! So not only are we finding different ores, we're finding bigger ones. But it still only takes up one slot. Look at you, you're in your own little pocket. This is becoming useful. And we've reached 100 meters. And the concrete property line extends even this deep. The Let It Rip emote. Yeah, it's one of those games. Seriously, why do so many Unreal games have such a similar vibe? And here's our next stop. Wow, it looks so similar to the other one. I really thought I'd entered a time warp or something. Look at that perfectly delineated line Right there. Geology would be so easy if it were this simple. We can get more dynamite. Don't really have the will to use it right now. But what's beyond? More money? Okay, this is where our fortune starts to turn, and we haven't even seen what kind of new exotic ores we can get down here. See, when it comes to, like, the deliberately tedious genre, there's a couple of ways of seeing things, a couple of ways of structuring them. You add things like viscera cleanup detail and crime scene cleaner, where the objective really is to look at a filthy destroyed scene that is all there available to you from the start, mostly, and slowly making it right, slowly making it clean and pristine, and being able to look back and see the progress you make as you go. Well, here, it's much more about how far you can go, about constantly beating your best, and making some discoveries along the way. Now, what have we got going back here? Even more that we need to carve through. This mineshaft is angled downward, might be a little bit tougher to get through. And we can't make our way around this one. We've actually got to be careful with our battery even just doing this. Have not discovered any new ores yet. This seems to be the end of the road. Do I trust it? Not at all. It's just that this one's gonna make us work for it. Oh, and I just realized in the top left, you can actually see the number of cubic meters we've carved out. So, total land displaced, I guess. I don't think this is all being hauled out by that guy in his Toyota. It does look like there's an opening here. Sooner or later, though, it is going to be time to test out that dynamite. It's just that we can't really afford to buy any more right now, so I want to use it sparingly. Well, maybe not so sparingly, now that we've got 3. Such a cave-in. Somebody had a bad time in the distant past. Although probably not such the distant past that this should be too much of a problem. Like, we should know this is here, right? Tyrannosaurus spine. Are we working to reassemble the T-Rex? Pile shovel. I don't quite understand that. Chimpanzee costume unlocked? Oh no, I keep hitting that to sprint. That is not what we do. There's another warp stone here, so these act as things to bail us out if we're running low on battery and we really can't make it. I would like it if we could buy spare batteries, though. Amethyst. $250. That is an extremely valuable thing. Okay, it really is just going deeper so that your profits can stand up to the ever-mounting cost of recharging batteries. We really are just constructing a T-Rex skeleton right here. Well, I mean, that's got to do wonders for crowdfunding, right? I wonder at what point we're going to be able to start upgrading our workers, or what they even do. It's really weird. It seems like they've added an idle game just off to the side of this, which is a strange way to innovate, but I'll give it a chance. Okay, we're going to get as deep as we can here. Put out one radar ping to see if there's anything interesting nearby. Not that I see. And start digging. Immediately rewarded by 2 pieces of amber. Yeah, we are about to start making much, much greater cash. I've got to say, I really like being able to physically tell what depth you're at by the type of rock you're digging into. That's an interesting change. There's a money box with $1,000 in it. Amethyst. See, I've noticed that we reach each new location pretty much right as we're getting the end of our rope, or the end of our battery at this point. The rope itself is infinite. Why would I want to do this? Oh, well, I guess if we wanted to build a staircase, this would be useful, right? Look at that. Radar reveals a skeleton. Darwin? Darwin, are you down here, buddy? It's taken a while, but we finally found you. Like a real while. Like, how long does it take for all this to be deposited on top of you? Oh, wow, we still haven't reached you. You're deeper than I thought. It looked like a human ribcage, but that could be forced perspective, making you seem a lot smaller than you are. It's probably another part of the dino up there. Scratch that, it's definitely part of the dino. We might want to widen this a little bit if we don't hit another checkpoint soon, because hitting all this stuff on your way out, that's not efficient. You lose valuable power trying to leave. So much money. Whoa, whoa! That was quite a fall. Tyrannosaurus ribs. It's Tyrannosaurus Rex, idiot. We have the Go Wild emote. As it gets darker down here, we're starting to lose our mind more and more. You know, I've read that in some places, I'm not sure if it's true in the United States, your property line extends to the center of the earth. Well, this city really takes that seriously. Is there anything else we can see? Looks like a couple of warp stones off to the sides. Nope. Spare battery. We're starting to see actual different behavior from the geology as well. In this case, we're seeing stalagmites and stalactites, and some overhangs, bridges. The expensive stuff is abundant down here. Downside, and it is a fairly big downside. First of all, I keep hearing footsteps that aren't mine. But also, I need to see how quickly we can get out of here. That is, that's a lot of energy. A lot of energy. Videos like this are always a little bit difficult to talk about. I'm surely going to be cutting a lot, but I'm going to try to talk more just so you can see more. Because I'm essentially cutting the gameplay by doing this, and that puts me in an awkward spot. It is fun. It is surprisingly relaxing to cut through this and have a little bit more each time. I'm thinking my next upgrade is going to be $2,500 for, what was the next thing? Was it a pickaxe? No, we're looking at like 10,000 an upgrade now. I think what I wanted was better rope. Being able to ascend is important. It's in that scary moment where we don't know where the next checkpoint actually is. We're mostly just finding lots and lots of gold, not even amethyst. I spoke too soon. Huge amethyst, $1,000. Well, that charges my battery. We're at the point where we may have to use one of those stones. Get down there. Whoa. Okay, that's a pretty big boom. I'm just starting to get an inkling of something deep down. Just barely it can be seen. So we'll start heading in that direction. But man, it's really gonna take a bit. Let's knock down as far as we can. That's some impressive reach, huh? And toss down a dynamite. We still can't afford our own dynamite, mind you. Yep. And that creates a nice little pocket, but we're still nowhere near reaching where we need to be. So I'm not sure what we do from here. We just don't really have the range. We can upgrade our wire rope a bit, maybe improve it some. Otherwise, really the only option I'm seeing is going to be to grind as much of the valuable material as we can. For that reason, this right here has become my dig site, the first explosion crater. We can sit here knowing how much it'll take to get out, and just grab whatever we need while digging horizontally. I'm just gonna go all in on digging here. We've got 3 spare batteries. We're doing it. We're just getting through this. Well, thank you for the amber. I'm more interested in what's down there. And hopefully it's something small and it's not actually as far as it seems to be. But I'm worried we're not actually going to find anything until like 200 meters. We're getting to the point where $10,000 is going to need to be a much more common expenditure. And the ores aren't really keeping up with that. I've done a little bit of grinding, gotten a better pickaxe, but we need to see what we're doing here. Because we're at the point where this battery can't really carry us out of here anymore. Get us closer. Ooh. Big things, don't want to lose it. We do also still have our warp stones. And opening. That's usually a good sign. Part of the good news about doing this is that having a better pickaxe means a wider tunnel for us to fly out of. Hopefully we won't have to fly out of it anymore. Ho-ho, no we won't. This game is about grinding your way through the various walls that it places in front of you, and then reveling when it gives you a nice leisurely stroll straight to payday. Pay dirt, you could say. Got another climb boost? Still not exactly sure what that does. Actually, a lot of these things I'm not exactly sure what they do, but look. We have found T-Rex's feet. Or foot, anyway. Let's dig that out and see what we get. Well, sooner or later we'll have dug you out. Right? There we go. Left foot bones. And $1,000 and another checkpoint, but it's not a mine shaft. Amethyst layer, the achievement says, and oh wow. It's ancient ruins. Right here below the city. Now, that's really cool. Actually, the last game took place in the suburbs. The fact that this is under a city street actually makes this a lot more interesting. It adds to the intrigue, you know? It's like when you're a little kid and you have your little plastic shovel and you think, I'm going to find treasure. I'm going to find Atlantis. And this is kind of the thing you're picturing. It may seem like a silly game, but it's appealing to such an innate fantasy. See how deep we can go. We're at 215 meters now. I'm very concerned by the fact that I keep hearing footsteps that aren't mine. Okay, now remember, in this case, Jehovah starts with an I. Look at this. This goes well outside the boundaries of our work zone. No way. Okay, where is this sunlight coming from? You are such a liar, game. Unless we really could have made this so much easier for ourselves. The worker level just increased. By disturbing the idol of a civilization long forgotten. Okay, well, I guess a curse is one way to encourage productivity. It's not the worst thing a boss has ever done. What do we just get? The Dogeza. When we arrive here, we gain the ability to worship. That's pretty neat. It's like how saluting the flag causes it to raise faster in Helldivers. We have the green chimpanzee, and we increase the worker level yet again. When we get back, we're going to have to see what those guys are getting up to. I still don't know what that whole layer of the game does. And this is so neat. It really does feel like somebody played a game about digging a hole, probably fairly quickly put this together, but did so from the perspective of, wouldn't it be cool if it had this? Anyways, now that we are here on the amethyst layer, let's start digging into it. Emerald! The Envy Stone. We are now returning to the surface with $5,100 worth of stuff. So let's charge ourselves, and may as well improve our backpack size while we're at it. And I think we're just going to hang out here for a long time and keep getting what we can get. Because, I mean, at $400 per ore, we can get quite a lot. I may be being a little bit risky, but I've come to the conclusion, that digging this way is a lot better than going straight down, because we don't actually have to expend any energy in coming back up. It's somewhat less efficient, but way easier and safer. $8,200 for that. Man, what do we even get? Probably better battery. Always better battery. In fact, I shouldn't have bought better battery, or I shouldn't have bought the recharge. Because when you buy a battery upgrade, it gives you everything back. Yep. Continue down at an angle. That's our way. Ooh. I'm telling you, when you see that huge thing appear in front of you, it's a joy every time. And that's the real appeal of this. Like, a game like this is sort of inherently a waste of time. Philosophically, not any more than any other game or activity. But even still, it might seem like just a set of Christmas lights for you to untangle. But it's that loop of constantly feeling like you're on a grind and constant satisfaction, a little dopamine hit every second. Games like this, you need to have a lot of small goals and one big goal. That's the small goal of trying to upgrade yourself and keep finding ores, and the big goal of seeing how deep you can go. And if this game's goal was just to be more game about digging a hole, it definitely is that, because I've been playing for about as long as that took, and I am, maybe 1/5 of the way down, not even? Now, what are you guys up to? Ah, you're like an idle thing, so you'll just slowly accumulate all that stuff. Well, that's just fine by me. It's effectively like playing co-op single player. Oh, let's be careful not to do that. Now, I do want to check out what wares the merchant has over here. We can get yellow, green. Why do these cost so much more? I mean, I feel like red would be what I'd always want. Oh, I see. I see. They're limited in capacity. Well, I still don't see why other colors cost more. I'm kind of doing this in a spiral pattern where I'm constantly turning to the left while I do this, because we are going to run into the problem eventually where we hit walls, and we want to try and avoid that. So by going like this, we have to use 0 energy getting back up, which allows us to go as deep as we want without worry, and we'll hopefully never run into ourselves and cut our path out from under us. The last thing we want to do is mine the floor out and lose that easily walkable path. You know what? I think climbing ability might actually affect our ability to automatically clamber over this terrain. It kind of feels maybe like we're dragging ourselves out more easily than before. We can improve our backpack space. We could also improve our wire rope. Thank you. And thank you. Can do both. We can get the next iron pick, and this is a pretty big leap in terms of upgrades. A pretty big leap in terms of cost, too. Looks awesome. Spelling out awesome. Alright, these achievements are pretty fun, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, like I said, this is a fairly decent upgrade in terms of its range, so let's see how this serves us. Operation Spiral Staircase is actually working splendidly. Let's give ourselves a little bit more headroom. It's pretty good. Tell me though, can you see anything on radar? We're about 30 meters deeper than before. Well, to be honest, To be honest, I'm not expecting to see much until we're much deeper than this, even. Maybe at 300 meters, maybe even more. Hit a wall again, which means it's once more time to start turning left, maybe a bit more aggressively. I would love to see like a LiDAR view of this whole thing. I mean, just seeing this thing twisting and curling its way down straight to the bottom. And by straight to the bottom, I mean superficially deep in the grand scheme of things. They say that in a gold rush, the real profiteer is the ones selling the pickaxes. And that's certainly the case here, considering I've spent every cent I've made with that guy upstairs. I don't know who he is or how he knows about all this. I mean, Digging a Hole had at least the decency to tell us why we were on that property. We actually were probably pretty far in the red, considering we bought a house to do so. In a neighborhood like that, 1950s aesthetic, come on. But here, well, maybe it's like, maybe it takes place in the same universe as Infra and Oben Sewer. Maybe we're a prospective developer and we're just trying to wring every nickel we can out of this. Sometimes what I find is that you'll find something absurdly cheap. You know, like, I've seen houses go for as low as, like, $5,000. And pretty soon what you realize is what they're selling you is land at a discount because there's a dilapidated house that you're obligated to demolish. Maybe this is one of those situations. Maybe I should buy one of those. I mean, if I keep finding ores at $400, $250 a piece, well, that'll make itself back in an afternoon. I believe we found our next stage. Right after I go recharge. Imagine being able to port this over to Cave Crave VR. Oddly enough, this is downright massive compared to some real-life caves. I've read a lot about caving because I do find it really fascinating, and it's basically this without doing much of the digging yourself. And when they start talking about how, yeah, and there's some places where you need to fully exhale because if there's air in your lungs, you won't be able to make it through these passages. And those are always the moments where I'm like, you know what? I'm good. I'll just read about it. I'll just watch videos instead. But anyway, I always go the wrong way. We're making real progress now. Earlier I was a bit annoyed because, you know, I thought, make it double press space in order to use the rope instead of shift. And allow us to have a sprint, but really, how often are you using sprint? And it would be very easy with the space key to accidentally use power when you don't want to. This is a game where some things don't make sense at first, but once you start using these features at scale, that was an incredibly lucky find, you start to realize why certain things are the way they are. Oh yeah, this is the next stage, all right. More dynamite. And the Tyrannosaurus left hand bone. Another climb boost, another warp stone. But if we keep doing things the way we're doing, we won't really need them. 10,000, a 10,000 money box. Are we going to start finding these things now? What I'd really like is some more battery. Okay. We'll start right over here, I guess. We're down here now at 264 meters. This place acts as, I guess, just a little break. And the only thing we need is enough energy to get ourselves to that exit. By the way, where is? Right over there. Okay, now this is the kind of thing spray paint can actually be useful for. It's not like Subnautica where we need to make our way out in any sort of big hurry, but it will allow us to, at least quickly at a glance, see where we need to go. Now we've got this. We're going to come up here. Oh, right, I've upgraded my rope a couple of times. Spray that there, and now it's a big red spot for us to find on the way out. Jump on down, look up, and there's a convenient lip right there. Oh, look at that. It looks like it's sticking its tongue out at us, like it's happy to see us. Nice. Where did we leave our hole? It's right over here. And like I said, we can afford dynamite now. So we could kind of afford to... Maybe we're just a little shy of being able to use it all the time. That may change soon, as I think if we get another 28 meters down, which we may encounter a cavity soon, that means we could have our next checkpoint. Yep, I think we're close. Pretty much exactly where I thought. Because I'm starting to pick up more items on here. Every 50 or 100 meters is a pretty solid guess for where you're going to get some sort of relief. And that relief is much needed around here. Just keep going in that direction, and just keep checking. It's a good motivation. I mean, that's the thing. Being a million miles from something useful looks exactly the same in the moment as being right on the other side of it. I'm really curious. I gotta know. This golden pickaxe, what can it do to this ground here? That's an actual crater compared to how we started. Although it seems like such an insignificant upgrade in the moment. We could do more things, could get more dynamite. I think we're at the point where we could start using dynamite. Look, we're obviously really, really close to a major breakthrough. Let's do it. We've already got a good-sized hole dug out down there. Let's see just how low we can get it. And no, we do want this to be at an angle as well. Toss it down. Kaboom. Don't worry about the stair part ourselves. There's our breakthrough. Let's see what we've got. Another $10,000 cash case. And an even deeper ruin. Part of the same civilization? It certainly looks like it. And we get the achievement Emerald Layer. The green shirtless miner. It's been hidden all these centuries. Is it? There's no manhole here. Well, we get a spare battery and some dynamite. But there's nothing here. That's a problem. We're hitting a new type of rock now. I am really, really hoping that it's at this point we'll, first of all, find a new type of material. Sapphire, $500 each. You blew me away, says the achievement. Well, that's some comfort, but I'm thinking it's probably going to be maybe another 50 meters until we reach our next thing. And rubies, 800. Well, profits are increasing, that's for sure. I mean, I had known even from before that there was absolutely no way we could keep unlocking checkpoints at this rate. There were only so many left, and there was a lot of ground still to cover. But that's the nature of a digging game like this. You dig down 20 meters, and you look at the bar, and you think, are you kidding me? There's no way we can do this. This is going to take, like, months. But those upgrades give birth to exponential progress. I can't get up there. There's only so much of this I can do as well. Come on. Oh, we're going to have to use a warp. Because it's just not letting me in there. Thankfully, we've still got a few. You know what I'm starting to think? It may not be best to keep upgrading the rope. If we do things so that we only need to move so fast, it'll be better if we can more slowly control our ascent. As far as I know, there's no way to de-upgrade. Downgrade, if you will. Oh, here we are, dropping 130 meters from here. huge sapphire. Huge sapphire worth 2,500. Yeah, this exponential increase in productivity has definitely started to exponent. Backpack is full. It's my real limiting factor now. Not energy, not anything. Not since we started digging this way. Actually, the most difficult thing right now is the fact that I have to commute from the last outpost at 200 meters all the way down to... we're still going. Oh, we're still going. All the way past 300. Now down into here. And radar's still not picking up any distant objects. Well, really, when I say distant objects, what it's looking for is cavities, right? Because it only picks up on things that are exposed. Although there are different levels to the radar according to the upgrade screen. Just gotta find them. And I wonder if it doesn't deliberately give us certain things at certain points. I mean, I'm sure it does. Or if some of these critical upgrades are, to some level, randomized. Oh man, it's a crazy thing in digging a hole to try and clear the entire map to excavate everything. It'd be even crazier here. Down at 324, and I'm still not seeing anything on radar. Like, nothing. At this rate, I'm worried we won't have any rest stop until 400. It's a whole lot of digging, but we've got the means, we've got the tools. It's just going to be, you know, a lot of digging. It's quite a grind now. But I was wrong about what I said earlier. We have not stopped finding an absolute abundance of minerals, which is why the major limiting factor now is just backpack space. We've got pretty good mining endurance now. We just got a whole bunch of huge things right away, and that's what's going to make this our most profitable trip yet. Oh, we are absolutely hitting 30,000. I can't believe we reached the point where picking up, like, amber isn't worth it anymore. Look at how much is left waiting for me from the last run. Beautiful down here. And it's wild once you realize that half of the checkpoints are in the first fifth of the game. But maybe we could take some comfort in that. Take comfort in knowing that that's how things are paced out. Alright, having these little stepping stools right here is useful, if only because it gives us a huge amount of minerals. But at a certain point we've got to get down there. Come on, there's got to be something somewhere. I don't think we're getting anything at 350. On the bright side, we can now afford to use a lot more energy, just shortening the ride back. But the commute really has become a big part of this, and it's annoying. I think the spiral staircase idea is, again, the safe option, but the slow option. It really wants you going straight vertically, falling down and flying up. Alright, we're full again. I've reached my screw this point. Fire in the hull. Boom. Still keep the stair going as long as we can. That's huge. Bunch of money. Let's knock you out with that. Oh, is that going to blow up the ores? It does not. Well, tossing something where you want it is not the easiest thing. On the bright side, we only need to make it down about 5 more meters. So let's be a little bit more aggressive on the incline of the digging. Maybe we could have done that from the start. There is a new material down here, a new layer. And I think I'm starting to see something. Some things, actually. Okay, this is working, yes. A cave ceiling. Let's make sure this is nice and bright and open. Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa! It's a treasure chamber. Worker level increases again. We're gonna need the rope to be able to look around, though. Another climbing boost. More spare batteries. And at this point, it would take a lot to truly strand us. We're still not seeing what we need, though. I'm thinking it's probably gonna be another 30 down. So let's do it this way. Let's do it this way. We're seeing the same kind of rock again. So it is still technically the same layer. We were just seeing the same kind of cave ceiling material that we had before. Let's punch that downward. And oh my god, just go in. $380. Yep, I knew it. We're very, very close. It has been a long time getting over this hump. But the next bit is at hand. This is what I just spent 30 grand on dynamite for. It's also why I'm so friggin' nervous. I mean, we're gonna make it. No issues there. Rubies. And an opening. That's all we needed. Man, when did this dinosaur die that its parts were so scattered across eras like this? I mean, did it die as, like, alone? Did it make payments over time? Finding more money. Finding 2 bones here, but oh my... Please, please tell me. Yes. Look at this. The ruins beneath the ruins. Okay, this is... it was slow for a while, but it's rapidly getting exciting again. Spare battery, money... Let's go back to the surface. You will not believe the things I'm seeing. There you go. This skeleton's really coming together. I'm just surprised by how much we still don't have. And these pedestals are still surprisingly lacking. But we're doing it little by little. All this, it just means we have motivation. And if this is one lot, just imagine what this whole city is on top of. On paper, we're 40% of the way through. In practice, I think we're much farther. Diamond pickaxe! Well, this would be the exact time for me to fall into lava and lose all my diamonds, huh? Ooh, spawning on a ledge like that makes it really feel like your view's going topsy-turvy. Well, let's explore a bit. A pit of despair. Will I die if I fall in there? I kind of feel like I'm used to dealing with pits of despair. I'm kind of trying to make some here. We can crawl through that. Yeah, I'm not dropping into there without knowing what it does. As before, even in the collapsed rubble, we can find all kinds of goodies. So we'll grab that. We're actually at the point where amethyst isn't really worth it anymore. This all looks Egyptian. I feel like there's 0 chance we are in the Valley of Kings right now. And then again, there is a 7-Eleven that can see the pyramids. Probably more than one since I read that fact. But we chew through this like hot knife through butter at this point. Well, we could always get some extra money from here. But I'm more interested in how your tail ended up in here. Caudal vertebrae tail. That is a very specific name. And whoever had the idea of adding this to the game was pretty enthusiastic about it. The red shirtless miner. Okay, looks like there's still something over here. Look at these crystals. These seem like they may even be natural. Ooh, or maybe gold pillars. It's kind of hard to say at this point. All I know is that there is a hidden tunnel back here. I wonder if it's gonna be like digging a hole where eventually we'll get something that's just a straight up drill. And then we'll really start seeing some fast progress. Alright, don't worry, I'm coming for you. My wallet depends on it. And we increase our worker level. This one's especially cursed. But that's not the end of things. No, not by a long shot! Okay, now we're really excavating the ruins. This is a little more in line with what I kind of thought this would be from the screenshots. Look, we can see our little meter going lower and lower, like we're an elevator descending into a secret lab. But this is the furthest thing. There's another warp stone. And the green miner. It's weird that this is like a small, big game. Only $5, but with all of this to do in it, it feels like it takes absolutely forever when you're playing it, but then you look at the clock and realize, yeah, you've killed an evening. But we're not out of the woods yet. And worker level increases some more. Oh, there's some dynamite. Okay, I think we're getting out of here now, unless maybe there's more to be found in here. No such luck. What's kind of frustrating is the fact that we got as far down as that, but we can't leave from there. If we want to dig down deeper, we're going to have to do it manually. So, back to the spiral grind. With a better climbing ability, it also means our spirals can get steeper. And probably some of this could have been steeper to begin with. I was just kind of paranoid about it not being steep enough. But that ends now. Really, we've got so much energy that it's no longer the limiting factor. We're not running out of it by the time the backpack runs out. So yeah, everything about our character now just enables a much more rapid descent. There we go. And on the way, in the next 600 meters, there's going to be 2 more rest stops. Yep. Here's our 50-meter cavern. Let's just carve ourselves a hole here. Yep. And yep. Down we go. So much dynamite. Let's grab you, and you, and you. And you, just in case we were in a bad spot, which we're not if you look at all our supplies. What are these things? Could those potentially lead us to some side stuff? Oh, I think so. Yeah, there's other caverns here. I'll accept $10,000. I'll accept $10,000 from anyone right now. Thank you, sir. You pretty much have to be in the hole with it. Boom. And give it a wide enough opening. Well, that was worth doing. Down here already at 461. I really don't think we're going to be seeing another checkpoint until at least 600 meters. So that's how we're going to plan things. Actually, at this rate, it won't even take all that long. We are in a race to the finish line now. Look at this whole cave that opens up before us every time we swing this pickaxe. Actually, I'm just very curious. What if we go all the way back to our humble level 1 stone shovel? It immediately gets $500 worth of sapphire. Okay, I should not be wasting energy on that. Tell you what, we are starting to see something down below. I mean, it's probably a full 120 meters down. Or it could be just another 20, because we are coming up on 500. The halfway point in theory, but not in practice. No, in practice, 200 was probably halfway, honestly. Look at how creepy that looks. This whole thing, actually, now that we're so deep, just reminds me of The Descent. Caves are creepy, man. I mean, it's chambers, caverns, completely naturally made. There's not much difference between this and ancient ruins, except for the fact that it doesn't have to make sense. They're nature's back rooms. So I'm up here. I think this is that self-contained area. What I'm looking for is over here. So now on top of everything, there's the risk of getting lost. Here is our 500-meter drop. And what is that texture? Whoa! Ruby layer. We've reached a little basin. Thankfully, there's a nice little opening here. Man, you guys must have existed for millennia. You know, one of the craziest things to me is when people start comparing the age of various constructions in Egypt. How there are buildings that we know that were ancient ruins while the Egyptian Empire was still a thing. Oh, those workers are working a bit faster now. Find more of this. But I see nothing else to mess with. 500 is more of a moral victory than anything else. Because I'm not seeing anything to grab. Well, besides the dynamite that's right over here. Speaking of dynamite... Ooh, uranium! Glowing with potential. Obtain uranium ore. And diamond. Just squeeze the carbon. Okay. Life just got even better. Man, look at this. The color and lightness of the rock around us definitely plays a role in morale and atmosphere and mood. It's cool. I wonder at what point in development this was decided on. Like, that it just made sense for there to be different physical layers, or if it was said that, okay, this takes a really long time to get through. We need something to keep these environments physically interesting. Well, either way, it's working. I'm thinking it'll probably be another 100 meters at least until we find anything new. But look, we've got so much of this. And then again... See, I was thinking about just having the rope do the work here. I'm just worried that it's a little while until we're back where we need to be. Like, I'm fine doing stuff like that. Huge diamond worth 5,000! Uranium pickaxe took all of a couple seconds, or a couple minutes, to supersede diamond. Now, I'm no geologist, so I don't know what these different layers are supposed to be. But I have noticed something else that's a pretty cool attention to detail, which is that this rock actually breaks apart differently. Like everything before now has been somewhat jagged, this is much smoother when we break into it. Anyway, we've already cut down another 16 meters. It also helps that the various ores become like more and more satisfying to look at, shinier and prettier the deeper you go. $5,000 huge diamond? I'll take it. I'll put that on a ring. And we're leaving with $61,200 worth of material. Yep. At what point does it start to feel like a nightmare? At what point do you start to feel like you've always been here, like you've never known anything else? Going up to the surface to deposit ores must feel like a dream that you immediately wake up from before returning to your reality. And is it torture? Well, it's softly unpleasant, but only in the same way that real life is. It's just all there is. That's how it feels. You go forward not because you're motivated to, but because it's what you do. It's mind-numbing in a good way, you know? Sometimes this is what you want from a game. And it's weird how different that can feel, you know? The satisfaction that I get from this, I would describe as distinct from Power Wash Simulator, even if the task is more or less the same, framed in a different way. Oop, found a $10,000 money case. Every once in a while, I do have to remember to use the radar. And there is, in fact, something there. So let's get ready for our 550 gift. Or at least I hope there is one. What's cool about the movement is even in environments that you yourself are creating and are very jagged and erratic in nature, it feels pretty smooth. It feels pretty smooth walking either up or down over this terrain. And even when we're using the rope, like if I just hold down shift, as long as my head was pointed vaguely at the right opening, I'll pretty much gain altitude really quickly. I'm actually amazed this works as well as it does. Like, this game looked really rough when I started, but I'm surprised at... Like there's so many things where it feels like, oh no, somebody thought about this. We're gonna upgrade the size of our dynamite. I'm feeling like it. There's our 550 breakthrough. Always expect it just before 50. What's that right there? Oh, it's just an opening. Oh, wait. Gotta get at that stuff. Look at the way this is ribbed like this. It almost feels like the mouth of a whale. But that would be crazy. Another 10,000. It's the second one of these I found. Well, we found some cool stuff. Yeah, don't mind me, just climbing out of here with near 90 grand. I've never tried dropping this in the box before. You know, I never even bothered to look at the fact that it shows a breakdown. I guess I just didn't think it mattered that much. But yeah, the longer you go, the more luck starts to play a role, the more variety you start to see in what you come back with. But we've got 111,000. What do we really need? Backpack helps, but I'll always go for you first. It leaves us still with 40,000. Not closer to 50. Anyways. I mean, just grab it while you got it, right? Back down. It's always the dilemma. The dilemma of whether you use dynamite. We've got plenty, we've upgraded it. It just comes with the knowledge that every time we use it, we're creating a place where we'll have to use rope, and must be energy dependent. But then, we're so much less energy dependent than ever, and I'm banking on being pretty close to a checkpoint. It makes sense for there to be one at 600 and one at 800. Or it could be pulling what the other game did, and there's a twist, and it goes on a little more. Decisions. One Statue of Liberty, dig a total of 10,000 cubic meters. Well, okay, but how many bananas is that? Statue of Liberty, I'm gonna start using that as a measurement now. What I would use it for, I'm not quite sure. I mean, what do I do that's on a Statue of Liberty scale? Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna chew out a thing here. Toss you in. I saw that model persist, but that was the right place to do it. Or the exact wrong one. Ooh. Okay, another 17 meters down from here. That's bothering me. Oh, that's bothering me. Okay. Whoa. And I'm unbothered now. You know what I can't wait for? I can't wait to turn around and just run back through this entire thing. Ooh. Yep. There's our salvation. Perhaps not, but you know what they say. God doesn't build in straight lines. Certainly not lines that seem to defy gravity like this. We got a climb boost. We got a warp stone. And a whole manner of other goodies. Look at that. There's dynamite hiding in the walls. Money. Dynamite. And a T-Rex femur. Which is, you know, good conversation starter. Make it into a coffee table. That shadow scared the absolute crap out of me. Cathedral windows. And stained glass still in them. Well, this is quite a significant archaeological find. And it was only on screen for like a second, but we got some kind of costume. Man, for 600 meters, this is not a lot. Now I'm worried we won't see anything again until 750. Well, since we're here, why don't we turn one of these structures into a little house? And a house needs a door. If you found giant diamonds when you started constructing a house, more people would build houses. Okay. Down this way. Maybe we will, like, 10,000 is such an easily achievable goal now that we probably should start spamming dynamite, right? Really put most of our money into upgrading the radius. Actually, now that I realize it, for as otherworldly as that chamber looks, it'll look even weirder for somebody who comes in and sees what seems to be a facsimile of a house. But just think how much time it takes for something like this to be buried this deep. Who knows what's buried on Earth that we don't even know about? Alright, let's do it. The pit in the basement. That's what would make this back room creepier. Yep. Boom. It's crazy how there can be that huge gap below a tiny hole. That is terrifying. Now imagine this, but flooded. Make sure this is wide enough for us to find it again. We're right up against the wall. Well, that makes things a bit easier, doesn't it? Grab all that. Oh my god, these things piss me off so much. At least it found its way in the end. Yep. This is the real way forward, I think. Okay, as long as you can see continuously straight through, I think we're okay. But let's build our funnel. Boom. And we should, at this point, be fairly close to 650. And by fairly close, I mean basically there. And there's nothing here at 650, but no big anything. I really wish we could turn this light off so that we could more easily read if there's anything being picked up on radar. That's always a gut punch when you think you've reached the next objective and there's just nothing, meaning you're in for at least, I'm thinking, another 100 meters of digging. It kind of reminds me of Spooky's Jump Scare Mansion, how the gaps between various elevators starts to get larger and larger. It's probably going to be 750. 350 meters, but once we're there, we're there. Yeah, no, I was right. That one entrance, a mouth ready to swallow you up, and what our brain hopelessly tries to correct into a structure is quite terrifying. But anyway, we're almost down. We've got an adamantium pickaxe now, which I guess means is the next level of ore we're gonna find. Look at that, how it shimmers and glows. Alright, we're down in the deepest, but it's only another 17 meters until the next thing, hopefully. I haven't even bothered with spirals lately. I'm just going, like, straight down almost. It's madness. I'm just swinging my pick faster and faster like John Henry, trying to cleave my way through all of this. And at this rate, it's looking like I'm succeeding. And as we break through to 700 meters, there's our opening. Why don't we get a wider opening while we're at it? 10,000 dynamite. And one terrifying looking radar scan. Uranium layer and pwn hammer. Obtain adamantite. Look at that, it's just a big open gulf. Yep. 4,000 each. Oh, we've got the right foot bone. I'm actually not sure how much that is. But I'll tell you what we have found. Look at this. Candles surrounding the manhole, like we're the prophesized one. Like we were always said to return someday. That sunlight makes absolutely no sense. But nothing makes sense down here, and that's why everything does. You know, this game was pretty dull and drab on the surface. I even thought it was all reused assets. Well, maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but it's kind of like Stalker. It's kind of like The Wizard of Oz. How it feels like we're in our element here. How there's more beauty here than there is where we came from. I mean, look, the stained glass, it actually casts colored light onto these walls. Monkey? I hope they accept my plea. Chimpanzee gold costume. The sound of my footsteps will never cease to creep me out. Also, for a moment, I wasn't sure if you changed a bit. We can descend to the floor. Well, work harder, guys. There's more. Hidden beneath the statue. Red miner costume. Oh, this is a bounty of treasures. Look at all this. I really can't believe how gorgeous they made this look. Oh, wait, we need to do our new chimp call. You've given us the New Testament. This is a very important game. It's giving us the good word. Okay, that's a whole ton of warpstone, a whole ton of everything, but I think we're ready to move on already. Since we don't have to worry about energy, let's climb up to you. Now we're the real conqueror. And it feels like it. I really can't believe how rewarding this is, but it definitely feels like the whole design philosophy of this game was, okay, the same thing, but more, perhaps more replayable, and most importantly, and this is critical, it feels like this was made by somebody who was a bit disappointed by the ending of digging a hole. Anyways, we've still got power, we've still got backpack space, so let's start carving stuff out, carving more adamantine. Remember, there's still thousands to be made with our remaining 22 inventory slots. Whoa, huge uranium, 10,000. I think that's the single biggest thing we picked up. Well, at least until that, I didn't even get to see what that was. But we'll be able to see on the stat screen. So we're carrying $127,000 in our inventory right now. You're still missing maybe only one piece. It's probably right at the end. You know, this journey has taken some turns. Did you really think the site we just saw would be there when... Ooh, wait. Look at that. Hang on, I just realized something. First of all, that 20,000 it looks like for the massive adamantite. Not that you can tell with everything all overlaid like that. But if we... Where do we even start? Where do we even start? What the heck, you? And let's get up there. Now that we've got the rope upgrades, we can check out what's on the rooftops. I mean, who cares how the rope actually works, right? Yep. A clown shop. We are so unbelievably far away from what's going on down there. But we go in the opposite direction and find this immediately. God, you're terrifying. We can buy emotes. Well, we can find the others. I don't see any reason to give you what is basically a pittance to me now. We can even get back here and see that you're a... That is such a funny gag. We can just straight up steal from you, huh? This game's sense of humor really is something else. And you could very easily write it off as just like a cheap shovelware game from the first impressions, but it's so much more than that. Man, just how far out of bounds can we get? Oh, there's an invisible wall here. It's alright, we need to pay for new stuff anyways. Yep. The spare battery here. Oh, look at this. There's statues for various achievements. Yeah, once you get past 500 meters, it starts getting weird. And I kind of love it for that. it knows you're here for the task, and, well, it's gonna play around and essentially act as its own jester in the meantime. So we're returning with minimum 80,000 now that Sapphire and Ruby are out of the equation, and probably more than that. The only way that doesn't happen is if the battery runs out first. And, well, if that happens, that means we've made a lot of progress, so can you really complain? I'm casting out feelers and feeling nothing. My guess, the last checkpoint is going to be at 1,000, and there's maybe going to be a surprise after that. What was that, 163,000 in one run? Why not? Buy that. More backpack, more you. And you guys just keep working. Even with the upgrades, those workers don't actually contribute that much. I don't really know why they're here, or if there's a way we could have invested more in them. But that doesn't mean they have an excuse to slack off. This definitely could get done a lot faster if you have some friends with you. And that's probably... I get the impression that that's really where this experience is meant to be. Anything's fun with friends, and this would probably be a lot more chaotic that way. But that's why I appreciate that this is very much working in single player. I've never felt like I'm locked out or stuck in more of a grind because I'm playing on my own. Are we about to reach a cave ceiling? This has got all the hallmarks of a cave ceiling. We really just pound right through this right now. We get so far on a single run. It's a cave ceiling. It's a deep cave ceiling. Really deep. Yeah, this might be one of them fire in the hole moments. I keep hitting the wrong button. Dynamite and warp need to not be in the same place. All right, screw the dynamite then. We're just bashing on through. Leaving a pretty wide ceiling so that there's room for us to use the rope to get up here. Not that I'm really all that concerned about battery anymore. Yep. It's the land of the lost. I mean, at this point, I've got the equipment that I feel pretty confident I could handle some slee stacks. The pelvis. And there's lots more around here. In the dark. Better climb boost, more dynamite. It's still throwing us a bone every once in a while, pun absolutely intended. But yeah, we're mostly on our own now. Oh my god, we really are reaching the point where we're running out of battery just from mining. And this comes right after some major upgrades. Okay, well, there's some money. Maybe that's our sign to leave. That and filling our backpack. We're dropping like 60 to 80 meters every single time we come down here. This is truly the final stretch. There we go, we have maxed out our pickaxe. Orichalcum pickaxe. I have no idea what this thing is, but I don't know if it can still be called a pickaxe. It looks more like some kind of, I don't know, Klingon crossbow? As we drop down to nearly 800, I'm starting to pick up more on radar. So we're going to start moving in that direction. We're actually practically level with it. What have we got here? A big, scary pit is what? But one we can very much make use of. I mean, hey, free distance is free distance, right? And we found another temple. A smaller one, but a temple nonetheless. I can use my pickaxe as my own flashlight now. And the workers heard of my success and have become more motivated as a result. Okay, down into the maw. They 100% would have found Kiss and K. Barlow's treasure way quicker if the kids had even half of the gumption that this protagonist has. Well, to call him a protagonist may be somewhat generous. More like feral creature. Even that might be generous. But, well, given what we found, seemingly appropriate to what we've discovered. I mean, maybe we were called here. I mean, look, we don't wear a shirt to work. We are prone to primitive gestures over any actual speech. Maybe in a past life, we were the monkey god that this place was built in reverence of. Maybe all we're doing is trying to get in touch with our roots. We stopped touching roots a long time ago. That was like almost a kilometer up. But we're now at 835. I'm hoping we can hit 850 without having to go back up. But at this rate, we're probably almost at the point where we could just teleport back to the surface every time and never have to go back. It's always a surreal thing when you come down and see the remains of what you've left behind. Feels like we're entering some alien world. Nope, entirely terrestrial. In fact, something that's older than humanity itself, I'm starting to guess. In my haste, have never considered the obvious assumption that was right in front of me. I wondered about the humans who worshipped apes as gods. But what if the civilization we're unearthing was a civilization of apes? H.P. Lovecraft wrote about stuff like this. I keep feeling like it's hot down here, like we can feel the glow of the earth. A molten core beneath. Fortunately, this is one of those times where we're gonna have to head back. Hey, if you don't use them, you lose them, right? More battery. Look at you guys shoveling uranium in there. You guys should not be working in these conditions. Thank you very much. Here we are. Let's make sure this is wide so we can see it. We could leave some ores around the edge so it's easier to see, but nah. Down we... Whoa! After everything, that is not what I expected to see. We found the nest! No way! Umbrella Corp is active in this city, of all places? Wait, did you count as collected? I'm just assuming you did. Sometimes the text doesn't display. Alright, grab everything we can. Worker levels increasing. So much worker power here. It's all those motivational speeches I make them attend, I'm sure. But we're not even to the bottom yet. There's still another 100 meters to go. Well, there's supplies here. And greater worker motivation. But no evidence of Umbrella's crimes, I'm afraid. Although there would no doubt be something crazy on these computers. It's a whole doomsday bunker, somehow below the ancient civilizations. Alright, well now... what else is there to say? We just keep going. Why stop now? We have reached a molten core. Look at this. Okay, start going into it. Orichalcum layer reached 900 meters of depth. Hoping that'll provide enough of a funnel. As if you needed any more heat. Whoa. And it almost seems like it's blunting the effect of the pickaxe a little bit. Could just be my imagination. $100,000 cash box. You would think what's down here would predate money, but then again, the geological record is definitely going to be thrown into all kinds of confusion now. Digging so hard, these rocks ain't rocks. Find orichalcum for the first time. 8,000. Massive orichalcum, 30,000. Getting jiggy with them ores. Collect all giant ores. I'm sorry, but these are really achievements that bear reading out. Well, I guess in conditions like this, it's good that I didn't bring a shirt. Ah, who are we kidding? It's always good not to bring a shirt. Don't mind me, just pocketing $478,000 from one single run. And battery charges are free now. I guess I earned a lot on the rewards program. Well, anyway, with $655,000 in the bank, we can level this up to max, level you up a bunch, and yeah, there's really not much more to it. I hadn't even realized how much more I can probably get out of the dynamite. But anyway, 17,000. Low battery? Oh no. It's not as if I have 16 additional 700 charge batteries left, and like 9 additional free teleports to the surface. Honestly, being beholden to the battery has cost me too much time for the purposes of a Let's Play. And, oh hey, there is one thing that can turn me back though, and it's running out of backpack space. Well, tell you what, doesn't really matter, we are so close to the end. Let's teleport back. So 432,000's worth. And upgrade our dynamite as much as it'll let us. Up to level 4 even. Okay, 50 meters left. Not a lot of reason not to do this, right? Boom. Whoa. Yeah, no, this actually gets much more powerful. I have been neglecting this whole thing. I mean, it's only recently I would have been able to invest that much because they're very expensive upgrades. But making a huge difference when there's only 50 left. We are definitely getting a lot out of this, though. Toss you down. I am so sick of R and T being right next to each other. God, that's a big boom. It is so satisfying. Let's widen the gap. And toss it in. Even that's not big enough. Whatever, we've got tons of it, and the means to easily buy more. We are hollowing out the earth right here. We are probably causing legitimate catastrophes right now. Wasn't this the plot of a movie? Kaboom. There's nothing like falling into the crater you created. Look at this. Yeah, this is the way to go. A game like this could really benefit from a new game plus. Remember, we benefit the most the deeper we drop this thing. There you go. And that time there is no opening. Just means we did it right. We're at 980. Get out. What was that sound? Was that just dynamite sound? Am I never around to hear it? Oh no, we had an energy threshold. Does dropping dynamite use energy? Okay. Well, we can go down another 13 meters. Is it? The bottom. And the Tyrannosaurus neck! Jurassic is parked. Complete the Tyrannosaurus fossil. And we've got to return to the surface. That's not what I'm worried about right now. What I'm worried about is whatever this is. Oh no. We're in the ending of Outlast. Let's start carving our way into here. Actually, wait. That's how it's done. Wow, this could potentially take a long time. It almost looks like dark storm clouds rolling down the hallway. I got a vivid imagination. What is this? What are you trying to tell me, game, and what can I get for these PCs? I mean, even 3rd gen i7s will go for a couple bucks. A button. And some flags I don't recognize, but that are probably really funny to somebody. This ancient order was really advanced in its technology. But at least the workers are working harder. Actually, all these boxes can be opened too. Climb boost. Worker level. Come on, there's still more. A whole bunch of batteries up here in the tents. This practically feels like it's setting me up for a new game plus. But I think that's all there is here for now. I never could have predicted where this game would lead. And once it started leading in one direction, I never could have predicted it would have led back here. But I'll be honest, it's kept me enraptured the whole way through. Now let's begin the rapture. Look at that, we get to see our whole path. That's so funny. I actually got my wish in the end. That is so cool. It looks a lot like a human organ system, doesn't it? Yeah, we can see where we started to use the curls. That spiral method definitely saved us a lot of energy and a lot of trips back. Wow, we're only down to like 600. What a goofy, ridiculous, time-wasting, fun piece of software this turned out to be. We seem to be missing a gap there. Might have been a rendering error. You guys keep on keeping on. Oh, you'd never know. Because we're about to test just how deep these bunker penetrators can go. Reset terrain? Resetting the terrain will remove all holes you've dug and objects you've created, letting you start over from the beginning. Your equipment upgrades, skins, emotes, and other data will be retained. Shesu, joy of man's desiring, clear the game. And start digging. Here we are, the hole filled in. And our workers dutifully working. And our scare T-Rex dutifully keeping the crows away. Good job. Now we can put crops here. But we won't. I didn't expect that ending, and it really does feel like an asset flip where things happen just because those are the assets they have. But it's goofy, and it's fun, and it can keep you and your idiot friends occupied for a few hours, and it's satisfying in all the right ways. I just want to see what this will do at roughly surface level. Well, got rid of the grass. That's one way to mow a lawn. But probably only a fraction of what it would look like once the B2s came over. Wow, it actually blew straight down to the first milestone. This is probably very quick and easy to clear once you've got all the upgrades. But there really isn't too much more to say about this. You know, I don't need a whole complicated outro. What you see is what you get. And what you don't see, you'll find. I'm sure I could have been more efficient, but it was $5 and it killed about 5.5 hours. And I had fun with the time I spent with it. It's simple and satisfying. It's dumb and random, but it never really presents itself as any more than that. You can tell that it's just having fun. And there's not really a whole lot more to say about it. I think this image over here is actually the perfect encapsulation of this gaming co-op. It's going back to you and your friends digging in the sandbox and fulfilling the fantasy that it's more than 6 inches deep. And if you enjoyed that idea, you'll probably enjoy this a lot. And if you like this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more creepy and comfy content. If you have any ideas for other videos you think I should do, the best place to suggest that will be at the Discord, which I will link in the description. If you want to try this game out for yourself, that link will also be in the description. If you want to support me on Patreon, that link will be in the description. And as always, I will see you in the next one.